So the outlook for the main battle tank and main battle tank variant vehicle market is approximately 79.9 billion over the next 10 years. And that's with a compound annual growth rate of around negative 0.22%, which is pretty much flat. The reason for that flat forecast is that the traditional markets in the West are reducing their budgets through the middle part of the decade, but that's being somewhat offset by increased spending in the emerging markets, most notably in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. The US M1, the German Leopard 2 and the Russian T90 are the top platforms by production spend over that forecast period, and all three of those have seen quite lucrative contracts for large volumes of vehicles over recent years, as well as already having large established global fleets that are going to have considerable revenues associated with sustaining those fleets. If we look instead at the top platforms in terms of volumes of platforms that have been procured, the T72 comes to the front, which we've seen over 20,000 of those produced over the last several decades. However, the US M1 and the Leopard 2 remain in those top positions. So looking at the main battle tank market, there's only one genuinely new vehicle being produced, and that is the Armata main battle tank, which is currently in production in Russia. Although there are new production vehicles out there, Germany is making Leopard 2A7s for Qatar, India is building T90s, and Turkey is building the Altay main battle tank. None of those are actually new designs. Even the Altay is based on the South Korean K2. Unlike traditional Russian design, the Armata is actually a completely new design. Usually they use an iterative design process, for example, the T90 being heavily based on the T72. This brand new design, the Russians are referring to it as a unified combat platform, is going to form the basis of a family of vehicles, including the traditional engineering and recovery variants, but also heavy infantry fighting vehicles, self-propelled artillery, and air and missile defense systems. The program actually has a very ambitious timescale, with the platform due to enter service from 2016. And it is understood that the platform was shown to selected defense officials in Russia this year and will potentially be rolled out to the public in 2015. So it's very unlikely that we're going to see any new main battle tank systems before 2040 or even 2050. For now, the focus is going to remain on sustainment of existing systems and upgrades to their capability to try and maintain their competitiveness through to that period. By the time they get there, they're going to be looking at being 50, 60 or even 70 years old. So there's going to be substantial work done on C4ISR, battle management and electro-optics on those systems. Survivability is everyone's buzzword since the war in Afghanistan, and so that's going to be another real focus. Now, both of those, the C4ISR and the survivability, bring in substantial demands on the vehicle's engine and power generation, both electric and physical engine power. And so those are both going to have to be looked at in time. The other thing to consider is that the West is, broadly speaking, moving away from heavy armour towards medium and lightweight mobile forces. A good example being the Netherlands, who have completely withdrawn their main battle tank force. So it may well be by the time we start to get towards 2040 or 50, many of these countries aren't even looking to procure a main battle tank system.